Hello, friends. This morning I want to touch base and talk about a topic that's way more serious than we normally do on our channel. We love to keep our channel lighthearted and happy, but there are some times that we have to talk about hard things, And first, let me just say thank you all for all the support you give our channel. We greatly appreciate it. We try really, really hard to disseminate that support out to others. So thank you for that. Of course, like, subscribe, share, and hit that thumbs up and that alert bell, and we greatly appreciate that. But today's topic is really about war with China in a Philippine-American perspective. So understand, first and foremost, I'm not speaking for everybody in the world. I'm speaking for myself, my wife, others that I know personally, and our interpretation of what's happening in the world between China, Taiwan, and the Philippines, and our great concerns as members of this world community that we live in about our friends and our families, both in America, Taiwan, and in the Philippines especially. Because obviously we have a lot of friends and family in the Philippines. So what's going on is great concerning, but there's one thing I want to go over with you is the new announcement that came out on February the 3rd about the strengthening of relationships between the United States and the Philippines in the preparedness for what's going on with China's aggression. So, and look, if you think I'm totally off the base and you don't like this topic, then just turn the video off. You don't have to leave negative comments, just don't watch. But here, let me get to and show you what I mean. I'm going to read to you and show you the article that came from the Department of Defense. All right, my friends, here's a release that came out on February the 1st from the U.S. Department of Defense here in the United States. And I find this very alarming, but very positive, I guess is the way to say it. But sad that we need to go through this. So I'm going to kind of just go through this, and you can read it here for yourselves if you want. Today, the Philippines and the United States are proud to announce their plans to accelerate, that means to speed up, the full implementation of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, the EDCA. So we have plans to cooperate with each other. We've had it for years. Under Duterte, it kind of flatlined and really didn't go anywhere. But under the new president, and now with the new concerns of China wanting to take back Taiwan, which would be, I think, personally devastating for Southeast Asia. So, but they've agreed to speed that up and to work on that. With this agreement, it's designated 4 new agreed locations in strategic areas of the country and the substantial completion of projects in the existing 5 agreed. So you're going to have 9 locations where the U.S. military presence in junction with the Philippines is going to be working out of, which is a great thing, whether you're anti-American or not. But if you're Filipino and you don't want the Chinese to conquer you. So the EDCA is a key pillar of the U.S.-Philippines alliance, which supports combined training and exercises. The expansion of the EDCA will make our alliance stronger, guys, and more resilient, and will accelerate modernization and of our combined military capacities. So our troops are going to work together, hopefully technology-wise. There's a lot to learn between both forces. So we're going to share that knowledge and train each other. In addition to the new EDCA locations, will allow more rapid support of humanitarian and climate-related disasters in the Philippines and the response to other shared challenges. So that's the good thing about this is we were there when Odette hit, Super Typhoon Odette hit, and we got, to be honest, our butts kicked by Odette. And there was no natural disaster relief coming. So if our United States military government can help the Philippines put a structure together to help you guys in the Philippines deal with natural disasters, earthquakes, typhoons, I think that is outstanding. Outstanding, and very happy to be a support of that as Philippine American couples. Now, so the United States has said here that they're going to throw in $82 million towards infrastructure investments in the existing 5 states under the EDCA, and is proud that these investments are supporting economic growth and jobs in the Philippine communities. I'm a big fan of this too. You know, we know that the Philippines is considered a developing nation, and you have a beautiful country and a great country. But there's no question that you guys need an infrastructure of jobs. There's always more jobs to be needed. So I think this is going to be a great thing. And the United States and the Philippines have committed to move quickly in agreeing to the necessary plans for investments of the new and the existing EDC's CA locations. We've had a long alliance with the Philippine government, as you guys know. And we'll talk a little bit about the history of that in a second, because I do want to cover that. But I just want to reiterate to the folks in the Philippines, and I hope to maybe the Americans that are watching or other countries that are watching, if you want to know my opinion about how we view the China issue, most Americans are not fans of the country of China, the government of China. We love the Chinese people, don't get me wrong. We don't have problems with the Chinese people. We have a problem with the government. And we definitely feel with the spy balloon issue going on and some other drama going on, and the fact that they're making excursions and loud talking to Taiwan, wanting to take them back, that unless something is put into place, China will believe that they can do what they want. And so we have to do these. So that's how I believe most Americans believe. We know that we've had a long-term relationship with the Philippines and many other countries. And we know that we benefit greatly from the Philippines itself. Not only do we bring in your nurses to be nurses in America, because we can't hire enough nurses here. And let me just say that if you want to come to America as a Filipina or Filipino and get a nursing degree, you can come over here and have a permanent resident green card like that. So get a nursing degree. So we import nurses from the Philippines, and we love having that pipeline. We also have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of men and women that are married to each other from the Philippines and America. So there's a strong relationship bond there. Our military's been there in the past. So just so you know, we support the Philippines, obviously. As a Philippine American couple and our community, we support you. And we want you to look upon this as a favorable move to help protect the sovereignty of your country and to help and to continue to infuse into your economy. So hopefully this is going to be a win-win for both of us. Well, first, let's talk a little bit about what the EDCA is, how it originated, all right? So this is a supplemental agreement to the previous Visiting Forces Agreement. Now, all of this information is online, so it's not like I'm making it up or I'm the first one to figure it out. It's all online. You guys can go read it for yourselves if you don't believe me. The agreement was signed by the Philippine Defense Secretary and the Ambassador to the Philippines in 2014. So this is when the new version of the Visiting Forces alignment happened. Very important there. So a little bit on the background. You know, for more than a century, the Philippines has been an important American defense strategy currently in the Philippines because the Philippines is a non-major NATO ally. The U.S. acquired the Philippines from Spain after the Spanish-American War in 1898 and then fought the Philippine-American War against the revolutionaries of the Philippines to secure the rule. After both wars, the Philippines was a territory of the United States up until 1946. That's when the American government gave the Philippines their independence. The Mutual Defense Treaty was signed in 1951 and ratified in 1952 by the governments of the United States and the Philippines. The purpose of the treaty was to strengthen the fabric of peace in the Pacific by formally adopting an agreement to defend each other's territory in case of external attacks. And that's what the new program is all about. It's kind of modernizing that same treaty. In line with this treaty, the U.S. maintained several military bases, including Subic Bay Naval Base, which I know a lot of guys who've been there, Clark. But now we don't really, then it came to the point later on where our bases shut down and our presence got very minute. But with this new renewed agreement, the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Fund, the new Defense Cooperation Agreement, not fund, we're putting a whole lot more money into the Philippines, rebuilding these bases, and going to have a military presence there under the new president. So that's a tiny bit about the history. You can, of course, read a whole lot more about it. All right, a couple little last notes, on the new agreement or the renewing of the agreement. The 82 million, this is talking about the money a little bit. I've done a little bit of research, and I can't find where they've come up with a whole lot of detailed plans about what happens to the 82 million. Now, back in 2022, the U.S. government also pledged 100 million to help build up the Philippine military. And now there's going to be another 82 million coming that way to work with joint forces, training, all of those. But I can't find any great details about that. So it's basically 182 million that we've pledged, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more industry and infrastructure that comes into place, and other businesses who can add and support the military efforts that's going to infuse dollars into the economy there in the Philippines. So that's a really good thing. Now, one thing I want to make sure that everybody, from an American perspective to the Philippine people, is the people in America, myself, people that I know, we don't want your country to lose its sovereignty. We don't want to take over your country. We don't want to occupy your country. We don't want anything to do that. We want to continue to have a great, fruitful relationship with the Philippines as I don't know what you call them, co-country owners, as partners in crime, so to speak, as friends and allies. But just be assured, because the American military is going to be there, we're not there to take over your country. We don't want your country. We don't, the American people don't want your country. Now, there's a lot of strategic reasons why we need to be partners in the military front and technology front. And of course, like I mentioned earlier about the nurses and the teachers, that's a great partnership we have, and we can build upon those. But the bigger threat to all of us in the world right now is either North Korea and China, and Russia. So us non-communist countries, who want freedom and want our own countries to be prosperous, we need to work together in harmony. So just as one American to you guys there out in the Philippines, we don't want you to give up your country. We don't want to take your country over. We want to continue to build a great and positive relationship. And I hope that you guys see that the expansion of the EDCA is a positive thing. And I hope it turns out to be a positive thing. I hope the fact that we will never need to use our joint military forces to defend Taiwan and or to defend the Philippine Sea, which I know China claims is theirs. So I hope this doesn't happen, but we need to be prepared in this day and age dealing with, troublesome leadership. All right, guys, that's something I'm going to encourage you to go research yourself. Is the EDCA, the latest and the earlier versions, the history of it, I think is great. But guys, we appreciate you. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. I'm not an expert in military matters by any stretch or political matters. I usually don't get involved in this. But doing a bunch of reading and dealing with the China balloon situation that we've had here in the United States and some other things going on, and knowing how many Filipinos and Filipinas and families and friends that we have in the land of the Philippines, as I call it, I personally, along with some of my fellow Philippine Americans, want you guys to know that we do have your back. We support the Philippines, and we are here. We are here. Thank you. Take care and have a good night.